Hi, it is Saturday, July 2nd, and I'm going to continue with my story about Buddy Watch and why it was formed. But I want to make a correction. Homeless veterans don't just live in the forest. They live on city streets. They live behind buildings. They live in vacant lots. They're in your community. You step over them sometimes when you're walking down the street. There's some video footage of campsites right outside the VA in Los Angeles. They're everywhere, and I don't know how we can continue to not see them or to not want to do something to address the problem. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what does it mean to be homeless. So I looked it up so that I could be accurate, and the simple definition is a person without a home and therefore typically living on a street. Okay, but our government, Public Health Service, defines it as this, and I'm going to read it because I want to make sure you have that information. A homeless individual is defined in Section 330H5A as an individual who lacks housing without regard to whether the individual is a member of a family, including an individual whose primary residence during the night is a supervised public or private facility, i.e. shelters. That provides temporary living accommodations and an individual who is a resident in transitional housing. A homeless person is an individual without permanent housing who may live on the streets, stay in a shelter or a mission, a single-room occupancy facility, abandoned building or vehicle, or in any other unstable, non-permanent situation. Sofa sleepers or sofa surfers. All of that is a part of that. And so what I want to say on that is that at 18, when I moved out of my family's house, I was homeless. I went and stayed at my aunt's house for several months, and when that didn't work out, I went and stayed with my grandmother. And then after I stayed with my grandmother for a while, I got married. Then I had a home. And my home was where the military sent my husband. But every time we had to pack, every time we had to relocate for a period of 1 to maybe 2 months, and at one time 3 months, we were homeless because we were waiting on housing. And in those situations, we were living out of suitcases and cooking on a hot plate because we were trying to conserve money. So all of you folks that have been in the military have at one time or other been living out of a duffel bag or a suitcase. So I want you to just think about how that felt to you to not really have a place to call your own.